what you're called to do. Go back. Okay, at 2.5, you trying. Go back. A 3.0, that's better. Go back. A 3.5, well, you're graduating now, but good job. So we need to be careful to consider constructive criticism. But then there is crazy criticism. Crazy criticism in the book of Nehemiah, we see it very well. Sanballat led the crazy criticism. The first thing he tried to do was he tried to distract Nehemiah. He tried to distract Nehemiah. He said, Nehemiah, this is your boy, Tobiah. This is your boy, Tobiah. Tobiah means godly man or godly. And he wasn't very godly. He said, Tobiah, this is your boy. Why don't you come down and we can talk about this construction? Over and over again. You'll read where he called Nehemiah and said, hey, man, this is your boy. Why don't you come and run? We need to talk about this. I know you're trying to focus on doing that thing, but you come on, let's talk about it. And each time Nehemiah said no. In fact, it's in Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 3. Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 3. I love this verse. It says, wait, I'm doing a great work and I can't come down. Woo! I'm doing a great, I know it sounds arrogant, but it's not. It's just confidence. I'm doing a great work and I cannot come down. I'm doing what the Lord has called me to do, and I cannot go with you. I'm doing what the Lord has called me to be, and I can't be your lover. I'm doing what the Lord has called me to do, and I can't drink that, and I can't smoke this. I'm doing a great work, and I can't come down. I'm sorry. I can't help you. Woo! So first, it tries to distract you, but then it tries to demean you. It's found in verse 5 and 6. You see it? Verse 5 and 6. Verse 5 and 6, he says, man, you see what they building? If a fox climbed up on that wall, a fox would knock it down. You trying to go to school? You taking classes online? You getting a job where? You making minimum wage? Oh, you're married. They try to demean what you're doing. They look at what you're doing and they say, it's not enough. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. You're not doing good. You're not making it. You're not much. They try to demean you. In demeaning you, they want to deflate you, because if they can deflate you, they can stop you. So first, crazy criticism is a matter of distracting. But then crazy criticism is a matter of demeaning, getting in your heart and your head. But after, if they can't distract you, if they can't demean you, then they want to get destructive. Start talking about, well, you know what? We're gonna get them. We're gonna get them. They move from belittling to bullying. Say, you know, whatever it takes. They try to slash your tires. They try to threaten you. They try to intimidate you. They try to hurt you. They try to harm you. This is criticism. This is crazy criticism. Okay, y'all not feeling me. Let me see if I can make it plain. Let me give you an example of crazy criticism. A good example of crazy, his name was Trayvon Martin. Now, when Trayvon Martin was shot and killed, many people, I thought all people would be disappointed. But some people began to say, well, the reason he was shot and killed is because he had on a hoodie. Yeah, if he didn't have that hoodie on, man wouldn't need to shoot him. George Zimmerman wouldn't need to shoot him, but he shot him because he had on a hoodie. Now, don't wear a hoodie and you won't get shot. That is crazy criticism. I know you've been at your job, you've been doing your work. I remember once I was on a job, true story, and I would arrive early every day to get myself situated, to be prepared. And I had a boss that couldn't stand me horseback walking or riding. And so she said to me one day, she said, young Mr. Hamilton, please don't come into work early anymore. You wait until it's time to come in. This is our time. Crazy criticism. Crazy criticism. I know somebody's married to someone and they offer crazy, doesn't even make sense. Make no kind of sense anyway. I mean, it's crazy. And you shouldn't even consider it. You shouldn't even think about it. You should just go on with your bad self. It's crazy criticism. Let me give you one more example. We call her Gabby, but her name is Gabrielle. Gabrielle was a young 17-year-old who went through a lot of difficulty to go to the Olympics. And when she got to the Olympics, boy, did she do that thing, man. She was exceptional, She was talented. She was gifted. She did something that most people in the whole world could not do. This 17-year-old girl. She didn't have a whole lot of support from her father. She had to live in someone else's home. Her mother kept pushing her, encouraging her. At points, she wanted to stop and quit. Her mother said, no, we sent you there for a reason. You can do this. Don't quit, Gabby. Keep going. And she got on those beams, and she flipped, and she turned, and she did the thing. She did it. And while she was doing it, somebody said, well, have you noticed her hair? I mean, did you look at her weave? That is a cheap weave. Here she is, going for gold, doing something that few people will ever do in this world. And somebody's talking about her weave. One of the things about crazy criticism is it's unbelievable how small people can be when you're doing great things. It's unbelievable. They focus on the little things when you're doing something great. You become the president and they're talking about a shoe or the dog that you chose or something else. It's unbelievable. Crazy criticism is really unbelievable. Let me continue. And so there's constructive criticism, then there's crazy criticism. And let me tell you, as we move on, that after you classify the criticism, you got to consider the source. Amen. This is related to what we just said. Please understand, you got to consider the source. Whenever someone criticizes you, consider the source. Consider the source. Consider the source. Consider the source. I don't know if you've ever been walking in your neighborhood, walking down the street, and a dog behind a fence started to bark. Hopefully you didn't get offended and start barking back. You know, it's barking me. No, you knew why you didn't get offended and start walking back? Because you recognize that's a dog. That's a dog. That's a dog. It's a doggy-dog world, and every now and then dogs begin to bark and bite at your heels. But at the end of the day, that's a dog, and you're a human. And so you have to raise above a little stuff. You have to consider the source. You can't deal with all of the crazy criticism. It won't work. What if the President of the United States, whether you like him or not, what if the President of the United States spent his time responding to crazy criticism? If I had time. Oh, okay, so you have to consider the source. When you consider the source, then you recognize some things are not worth your thought. Don't give your great mind to little stuff. Don't give quality time to unqualified people. It's not worth your thoughts. Go on about your business. Keep on moving. Move forward. It's not for you to engage them. They're upset that you got married. Cool in the game. That just means they really like you. You just move on about your business. Okay, his name is Charles Haddon Spurgeon. He's considered one of the greatest preachers of all time, at least the greatest preacher of his time. Preached to thousands of people, early centuries. And one day he had preached, and after preaching, a woman stands up and says, "You are unsophisticated." Now, this was uncommon. Preaching to thousands of people, I mean, he was a little unsophisticated. I mean, he sometimes used slang, and I mean, he wasn't, you know. And so he said, well, ma'am, in church, how many people have you led to Christ? She said, looked around. Well, I haven't led any people to Christ. He said, well, ma'am, I prefer my unsophisticated way of leading people to Christ. Every now and then, you have to consider the source. And if you are doing what God has called you to do, if God has confirmed you and God has assured you and God has certified you, God has said you're doing the right thing, then keep on moving forward, baby. Amen. Keep on moving, don't stop. Consider the source. Consider the source. They're not married, they're trying to give you marital advice. Consider the source. Consider the source. I wouldn't move on, but I want to make sure you have this in your heart, because you'll be tossed to and fro if you're not careful to pause and say, is this person qualified to advise me in this area of my life? Bitter people will always give you bad news. You will never get sweet confirmation from bitter people. Hurt people will most often say hurtful things. You will never get helpful encouragement from hurt people. Exhausted people will typically give you a response of an exhausted person. Consider the source. But after you consider the source, we said first that criticism is common in construction. But then we said you had to classify the criticism, because there's crazy criticism and there's constructive criticism. There's constructive criticism and there's crazy criticism. But then we said you got to consider the source. But lastly, and this is what Nehemiah teaches all of us. This is why I love Nehemiah. You have to continue constructing under criticism. Amen. I know it's sort of a lot of C's there, alliteration, but say it to your neighbor. Continue constructing under criticism. Continue constructing under criticism. While people are criticizing, you got to keep on constructing. While people are talking, you got to keep on walking. While people are talking, you got to keep on working. While people are talking, you got to keep on worshiping. You got to keep on keeping on. You cannot get to the place where you say, well, you know what? I will stop constructing until everybody is happy. I will wait and hold off on this decision until everybody agrees. I will not move forward. I won't take a step. I won't advance. I will stop and pause and ponder all the pundits. You can't do that. You got to keep on constructing. You got to keep on going. The story is told of a man. In the wee hours of the night, he was in his bedroom, a small cabin, in his room, in a small cabin. The dark room suddenly became filled with light. And lo, when he opened his eyes, the Lord was standing before him. The Lord said, you have been chosen. You've been called out for a great work. God has called you. You have been chosen. I have chosen you. I've chosen you for a great work. This is the work. There is a great boulder ahead of you, and I want you to push it. I want you to push it with all your might, and I do not want you to stop. I want you to push it, push, and do not stop. When the man woke from seeing this vision, he said, I will do just what the Lord told me to. I will be just what the Lord told me to. I will push the rock. He goes out in front of his house, and lo and behold, there is the great boulder. He begins to push. He pushes and he pushes and he pushes. In exhaustion, he goes back to sleep. Next day, he wakes to do the same. Next day, he wakes to do the same. Every day, he wakes up to push this boulder, to push this rock. Every day, he pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes. He does not quit. He does not stop. He pushes with all his might until in all his pushing, his body is almost wounded. His mind is fatigued. He is weary. And just then, the enemy comes to give him some comments. Says, look at you. You've been pushing that big boulder over and over again. Boulder hasn't moved an inch. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Why don't you do something that you can accomplish, something that you can achieve? Because this isn't working. You're not going anywhere. Quit. And he wants to quit. He gets ready to go back to the boulder, but he looks, it hasn't moved an inch. He goes back to his cabin, and just then, while he's in his cabin, getting ready to fall into a depressed, somber sleep, the Lord comes and says, I gave you a great work. Why did you stop? He said, because I'm not doing anything. The rock hasn't moved. He says, oh, no, I did not ask you to move the rock. I asked you to obey me. I asked you to follow me. I asked you to listen to my voice and push the rock. And now look at yourself. Look at yourself. He looks at himself. His arms are large. He's massive and he is strong. He is a much stronger man than he could have ever been. He is a man of great strength. He says, now that you have obeyed me, get out the way. I, God says, will move the rock. You have become what I wanted you to be because you pushed the rock. All God is saying to us, even under criticism, even under difficulty, even under hardship, is keep on pushing. He will move the rock. He will make the difference. He will turn things around. He will shake things up. He will make it happen. All we have to do is obey. And then when we obey God, we'll look at our arms and they'll be stronger. We'll look at our legs and they'll be bigger. We'll look at our family and they'll be better. We'll look at our homes and they'll be better. We'll look at our children and they'll be better. Because we were faithful and we obeyed God. We did not move the rock, but he moved the rock. All we have to do is be faithful, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. This is the call of the believer. Continue constructing even under criticism. Don't stop. Don't get weary. Keep going. Be obedient, and he will bless us. Chosen generation is coming. They're going to sing a song that you probably recognize, but I want you to know it comes from the book of Nehemiah. It simply says, let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God has spoken. Let the church say amen. As chosen generation comes, I want you to stand to your feet because I'm going to ask that not only that we listen to them, but that we sing along with them. Now I'm going to teach you the words. Are you ready? Let the church, you got to say it. Let the church. Okay, that was a few people. Let the church. All right, need to hear you in the back. Let the church say amen. God has spoken. Hallelujah and praise God.